This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot. Our step back three on the way. Oh, it banks in.
Yo, welcome in. It is yet another edition of the Brothers and Ball podcast. Happy to have you. Thank you for listening. My name is Christopher Douglas. I'm joined with Michael Douglas, as always. We have our special guest, the social media expert, Kalen Clark, coming up in about 15 minutes to show us how it's done with Socially Acceptable, where we're going to discuss Kevin Durant and his Twitter fingers. Kevin Durant's becoming a regular segment on the show. Can't wait to get into that and some other things. We got some lead topics, and we're going to go to some NFL stuff as well, justified, just foolish. But as always, Mike, I want to ask you how you're feeling tonight, my man.
Strong. I'm feeling strong. A little bit slower of a sports week, but nonetheless, we got a lot to talk about and a lot to get into. So let's do it. Let's get it rolling.
Cool. So the lead topic for today, Steph Curry passed Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list for the Golden State Warriors. And in the process of doing that, he gave the Denver Nuggets 53. He was putting on a clinic. And now he has 17,818 points for his career. So it took him quite a lot more games to get to that number than it did Wilt, because obviously Wilt was putting up ridiculous numbers back in the day. But now I think it's safe to say that there is no competition for Curry as the greatest Warrior ever. So that's my question for you. Is Steph Curry the greatest person to don a Golden State Warrior uniform?
Yes, it's an emphatic yes. It's not even close. Let's be honest. He not only is the best Warrior to play, he completely changed the game of basketball. And there's only a few guys that did that, right? LeBron did it. Magic did it. Curry did it. And the most recent that we're watching currently is Zion. He's changing the game of basketball. These are transcendent athletes. And yes, it took him a little longer. But let's remember he only played 5 games last year, right? He's not 7 feet tall. And I mean, I can run down the numbers. I mean, it's incredible stuff. I mean, the numbers, yes, speak for themselves, but if you watch this man play, it's something you'll never see again. The way he shoots the basketball is unbelievable. So if you look at his rookie year, he averaged 17 in his rookie year, right? Upped it to 19, right? 2011, 2012, he was hurt. That was the ankle surgery year. Still averaged 15 a game. Okay. From that point on, it went bonkers. 23, 24, 24, 30, 25, 26, 27. Last year, he only played 5 games, right? And this year, he's at 30 points a game. Now, while
he's competing
doing
for
all
the
of
scoring
that,
title.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now, while doing that, I'm looking at his 3-point percentages, mid-40s every year, right? So I'm gonna start after the injury year. So 2012, 2013, 45%, 42%, 44, 45, 41, 42, 44. Hurt last year, 42 this year. It's incredible. And he's taking a ton of threes. So the efficiency is up there. It's not like he's just, going 3 for 4 a game and you're okay, 4 for 5 and that's it. No, he's shooting 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these things a game.
Yeah.
So he's clearly something different. And I know Wilt's great, but he played in a different era. He played against guys that were not 7 feet tall. He was playing against a lot of smaller guys. So I can't see too many people disagreeing with Curry being the greatest Warrior of all time.
Yep, definitely. And the other thing I kind of want to talk about regarding Curry, like when we're talking about his career once he's done, what's like the one thing that you are going to cling to besides the fact he's the greatest shooter ever? That's definitely undisputed. But as far as his accolades go, he won these finals, but he never got the Finals MVP. Probably deserved it when Iguodala got it, but still,
Oh boy.
Never got the Finals MVP. I just feel like there's something missing when it comes to talking about Steph with the greatest, like the top 5, 10 players of all time. There's always going to be something that keeps him out of that conversation. It may be the Kevin Durant thing. I don't really know. But in terms of his legacy when his career is done, what do you say is the strongest thing that Curry can cling to besides the greatest shooter ever? We know that.
So for me, and I alluded to it before, it's the fact that he changed the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go to, any channel on TV and watch college, and these guys are shooting threes. Okay, I think it was Coach K who said it's time to move the 3-point line back. I think this was a couple weeks ago. It's time to move the 3-point line back. Why? Why? Because everyone is Steph Curry now, and they can all shoot.
Yeah.
They all want to be that guy. So, like I said, there's 3, 4, maybe 5 guys that changed the game of basketball, and Steph Curry is one of them. And that is the one thing that's always going to stick to me. Everyone in their right mind knows he's the greatest shooter ever touch a basketball. But the fact that he's changing the way the game is played is what sets him apart from most people, in my opinion.
Nice. Agreed. Now, just to spin it forward here with Curry, is he going to be someone who stays with his one team for his entire career like a Duncan, like a Kobe, or with this opt-out coming up, not this year but the following, is he going to look to team up and maybe get back to the finals with a different team? Because right now the prospects in Golden State aren't looking great besides him. You don't know what Klay's going to be when he comes back. Draymond is no longer that guy that he used to be, although he's a very productive player still. So do you think Curry spends his entire career in Golden State, or do you think that he moves on when he has the opportunity?
So just looking at it, I see him staying, and he's the type of player where I feel like players will flock to him. Okay, if you can get Kevin Durant there to come win, I mean, Kevin Durant clearly came there to win a title, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you can get Kevin Durant, to me, you can get anybody. And I think Curry already has the titles, so he's not chasing the titles. So I think he stays in Golden State. He continues to build that legacy. And I think when it's all said and done, his legacy, compared to someone who stayed with their team like a Duncan, like you mentioned, I think he surpasses Tim Duncan as far as legacy wise if he stays with Golden State, which I think he's going to do.
Yeah. I would love to see him finish his career in Golden State, but I would also love to see him get to play with another set of great teammates. And I don't know if he's going to get that. I don't know what it's looking like in the future for Golden State. But I do want to spin it around and talk about the team that he gave 53, the Denver Nuggets. And,
Yeah.
that's a bad loss to Golden State. Golden State's not one of the top teams in the West anymore. So while taking a look at it here, the Nuggets took an even bigger loss. And the news that I'm talking about here is the Jamal Murray ACL tear. He is now done for the season. Such an integral part of their team last year during the bubble season and, in the playoffs. And it's just going to be a completely different team. They're talking about signing Austin Rivers, as a replacement guard off the bench.
Saw that.
And and last week you were talking about the Nuggets possibly representing the West. So I imagine this deflates that entire prediction, but I want to let you break that down. How does this change Denver's outlook in the postseason?
All right. So anybody who listened to last week knows I picked Denver to win the West. I thought it was a perfect year for them to take control, and it was looking good for them. Murray tears the ACL. So do I think they're going to win the West now? No. I mean, that's your second best player, and it's not even close. It's Jokic, it's Murray, and then you have a bunch of really good players. So you're losing, you're losing 21 a game. You're losing 5 assists. You're losing 41% from 3. You're losing 48% overall, 87% free throw shooter. I mean, you're losing a top guy. So, excuse me. I don't see them winning the West. So this is a big hurt. You can sign Austin Rivers. He's going to be good. He'll make some shots. He'll play hard. He'll do his thing. But they're going to need somebody else to step up just to get to where they were last year. So they're probably going to insert Monte Morris in the starting lineup. But they're going to need someone to step up. They're going to need Michael Porter. I mean, Porter's already having a good year, 17 a game. You're going to need somebody else. I mean, Jokic is having an MVP year. Porter, like I said, with 17. I don't know who else is going to give you enough production for you to compete with these top tier teams. I don't see them ahead of Utah at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas last week I had them squarely ahead of everybody, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Murray loss puts them down there. They're fifth, sixth best team in the West now.
Yeah, it's a really devastating blow to a young and up and coming team that we kind of got to see, present themselves for the first time on the big stage in the bubble last year. Like I said, Murray just exploded. That series with him and Donovan Mitchell in the first round was so exciting. And, between them going back and forth and dropping 50, it's just crazy. But it's definitely going to be tough for them to get out of the West. Do you think they can even win one or two series? Do you think they can get out of the first round? Do you think they can make the conference finals still? Give me a specific prediction as far as how many rounds they can win.
Obviously, it depends on where they land in the final standings. I think conference finals is out of the question. I don't see how there's any way they make it to the conference finals. Any way you slice it, I don't see how you get there. I think they can win a first round series. I don't know if it's much more than that, and I'm not surprised if they lose in the first round. To me, they were a team that needed all of their parts working and clicking together to win this thing. And I thought, and it was coming together real nice. They hadn't lost a game since the trade deadline, and it was coming together. This really hurts. I don't see Denver making it past the second round at best. If you're a 5 seed to get lined up with the Clippers in the first round, you're probably losing that.
Yeah.
I don't see him going deep at all. I don't see him as a threat. I know most people don't see Jamal Murray as a superstar in this league, but he has a superstar level impact to that team. And it's going to be tough. I don't see him winning it. So, we're going to have to debate who's going to win the West because I had Denver last week. I don't know who it is this week.
I got you. I hear you on that. And the one thing that it may help, the only thing that it benefits, and not like anyone on Denver cares about this really, is Jokic's MVP chances. Maybe if he keeps this team afloat and they stay right where they are in the West, he can maybe steal that MVP from somebody. But we're definitely going to get into that. After the break, we're going to be getting into Justified and Just Foolish. We have some good topics there, a little bit of mix from some NFL free agency droppings and some NFL draft headlines. So we will get to that after the break. Keep it locked. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast. All right, now welcome back. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast. We're going into Justified or Just Foolish, a staple in our podcast nowadays. We are going to go over a few things, and we're going to tell you whether or not it is justified in the aspect of whether it's going to be true or not. So first thing I want to throw at you, Mike, is a draft prediction. There's going to be 5 quarterbacks drafted in the top 10 selections. Is this justified or is this just foolish?
This is a tough one. I've gone over this a few times, right? I think it's a lock, Lawrence. I think it's a lock, Wilson. And it's a lock that San Fran takes a quarterback.
Yep.
Right? So that's 3. So I'm looking at the orders now, right? Atlanta at 4. I don't think they take a quarterback. I think last week you had them taking one.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals, no. Dolphins, no. Lions, no. Denver, I'm going to say yes, because they're either going to take a quarterback or move up.
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be 4. And then that means someone would have to move in because I don't think Carolina getting Darnold and Dallas at 10. 5 in the top 10. I can't do it. I'm going to say it's foolish. I'm going to say it's foolish. Just foolish. There's not enough teams. The one team that can flip it on their head is Atlanta at 4. They made me make a deal with someone that wants a quarterback, or I could see Atlanta making a deal with someone who wants a tight end Pitts. I can't. I'm going to say 4 people. I'm going just foolish on that.
Okay, so just foolish for the quarterbacks. You think there's only going to be 4? I say
think
it's justified.
4. Okay.
I say justified. The reason being is that Denver, whether they move up or not, I think you can lock them in for a quarterback at this point, or they'll trade down to someone who wants a quarterback. Panthers, huge candidate to trade down. I think Atlanta is taking a quarterback 4th. And out of nowhere, I mean, in my first mock draft, like maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, I had Mac Jones like 15th, getting selected 15th. He is surging up the draft boards. He's going to get selected in the top 10. Whether or not that's justified or just foolish, that's a different debate. Will there be 5 quarterbacks? Yeah, it's a justified statement. And it's crazy how much the draft has changed over these past few years. It's quarterback crazy. I mean, we were talking about 5 quarterbacks the year that Lamar and Darnold got drafted, but Lamar is the very last pick in the first round. Yeah, we're talking about the 32nd pick, not the 10th pick. So definitely justified. Pencil in Lance, Jones, Fields, Lawrence, Wilson, all getting selected in the top 10.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Pencil it in.
That's a hot take. The one thing I'm going to disagree with there is I think Carolina, obviously they got Darnold, they could trade out of the pick.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have some needs. I think they could take the best available lineman at that point, right?
Yeah,
if the
they're gonna
Bengals
have
take
options.
Sewell, if Sewell goes at 5, Slater's left at 8, I believe. I think they're going to have options there, and I don't think they want to fall in the same trap that you and I watched Sam Darnold and the Jets fall into, where they couldn't protect the guy.
Yep.
Over 30 sacks in each of his 3 seasons with them. I'm not even going to get into that. So you have Lawrence 1, Wilson 2, Jones 3, Fields 4, and Lance going somewhere in a trade.
Exactly. Lance probably 8th or 9th. Just someone's going to trade down back there in the bottom half of the top 10.
Yeah, Lance is the one guy that I feel like he's the unknown. I feel like everyone is locked in on Lawrence and Wilson. Everyone thinks Mac Jones is going to the Niners, right? Fields had another pro day. He looks like he's a lock to be in that top 10. I feel like Lance
Shanahan
is that
was
unknown.
talking to him.
Yeah. He's got all the measurables, The unknown is at North Dakota State and the competition he's played. Right. But you can say the same thing about Zach Wilson. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
We will see what happens. We're going to keep it in the draft here. I'm going to flip it over to you. Okay. Mm-hmm. The first wide receiver in this draft taken is going to be Devonta Smith. Justified or just foolish?
This one's just foolish. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it because, honestly, there's a chance he's not even the second wide receiver picked in this draft. He might not be the first Alabama wide receiver picked with Jalen Waddle. So Jamar Chase is going first. He's an absolute freak of nature. Like, we're talking about one of the best wide receiver prospects that we've seen in a very long time. He ran a 4.4. His measurables came back, and he's even bigger than people thought. I mean, you forget about how good he was before sitting out a full season. When you sit out a full season, it's like you kind of forget about how that player can perform and what that player can do for you. Not a knock on Devonta Smith, but he's, his numbers as far as weight, I think they said he's 170 pounds. There's concerns there. We're talking about, we're talking about a business where you're going to get hit and your body it needs to last. So Devonta Smith is not going to be the first wide receiver taken. It's absolutely foolish.
So I'm going to agree with you. Chase is definitely first off the board. I do think Devonta Smith does sneak in ahead of Waddle. Waddle to me is a bit of an unknown. He could be elite. He could not be. I don't know. The book's not quite out on him yet. I'm looking at a few mocks, and they're flip-flopped all over. Like I see one here, Waddle 11, Devonta Smith 12. Then over here I see Waddle at 9. I see Devonta Smith at 6 to the Dolphins. It's I don't know. I agree. I'm going to agree with you. I think Smith goes ahead of Waddle, but I think he's far behind Jamar Chase.
Yep. We're in lockstep on that one. But
yeah,
something that's been circulating around the news, we have a retirement from New England Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman. Put out a nice little video. Probably could be in an acting class or something, land a job as an actor. So this is what I want to ask you. Is it justified or just foolish to say that Julian Edelman will end up being a Hall of Famer?
this is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not even a debate, okay? This is just foolish, okay? Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Julian Edelman or Heinz Ward?
I mean, thinking back to the player that Ward was, I would probably say Ward, but Edelman came up big in some big moments. Some big moments. He came up in some big moments.
Julian Edelman doesn't even have half of the receiving yards Heinz Ward does for his career. Okay? Edelman has just over 6,000. Okay? Heinz Ward has over 12,000 yards. Okay?
Yeah.
And Heinz Ward's probably not making the Hall of Fame. Okay? So everything that you read about Julian Edelman, it's fine, it's cute, it's sweet, it's dandy, all that crap. Okay? You know what that gets you? You put him in the Ring of Honor up top there with New England, okay?
Yeah.
He's not a Hall of Famer. You put him in the Hall of Fame, you're completely doing a disservice. It's not okay. He cannot go in the Hall of Fame. Okay?
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, retire his number in New England, whatever you want to do as far as a Patriot, do not put him in a Hall of Fame because then you're opening a mixed bag. And I heard someone, I think it was Colin Cowherd actually, he said, let's talk about Calvin Johnson. Would you rather Calvin Johnson or Edelman's career? Let's be real. Calvin Johnson, I mean, who's his quarterback? If he played with Tom Brady, his numbers would be more bonkers than they are currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
that's a stretch.
Yeah, we got to slow our roll here. He's not a Hall of Famer. You can Ring of Honor him. Put number 11 in the up in the rafters or whatever you want to, whatever they call in the NFL. Put him up there. Okay, Julian Edelman. Celebrate him during the season. Yeah, Super Bowl great. You made a fingertip catch. Whoop-de-doo.
Sorry, Jules. It's definitely just foolish. It's definitely just foolish because, like you said, the counting numbers aren't there. But then, on the flip side, just to give you a different perspective here, he's like second, third, or top 5 in almost every counting playoff stat.
Oh my God.
Does that matter? It has to mean something. And like I said, in the big moments, he was always coming up big for his team. I mean, you don't win championships without players who step up in those moments. I mean, James White was probably the most lethal weapon when Atlanta and New England played in the Super Bowl, but who's the next best player on that offense? Gronk is kind of washed at that point. It's up for, I don't want to say it's up for debate because there's no way I'd put him in, but I see how people can think like, oh, remember when Edelman did this? Like he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but it's not Hall of Fame for a specific play or for winning Super Bowls as a collective. It's individual achievements.
Anybody who thinks Edelman is a Hall of Famer thinks Robert Horry should be in the Hall of Fame in the NBA. That's
I
your
like
logic.
what Nick Wright said. He said Julian Edelman is Derek Fisher.
Hello.
It makes a lot of sense.
Hello. He's a good player. He's a player that you would want on a championship team. Is he a Hall of Famer? No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But we agree on that, so there's no need to keep this one going. So I'm going to flip it to the most recent news of the day, and it's Jadeveon Clowney. He signed a 1-year deal with Cleveland worth up to $10 million. So that pairs him, right, alongside Myles Garrett, which could get quite lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Does Jadeveon Clowney signing with Cleveland make them a Super Bowl threat? Justified or just foolish?
All right, I want to preface this because, yes, it's going to get scary defensively, right? Up front, you got 2 number 1 picks. On the whole team, Baker's a number 1 pick too. So you got the talent there on that roster. That roster's loaded. Does this make them a Super Bowl contender? I don't think it shifts the needle much. I didn't think they were a contender beforehand, and I don't think that they're a Super Bowl contender now. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this is just foolish. Reason being is they had the Chiefs dead to rights. Chad Henne in the game. All you had to do is get a stop. And you let Chad Henne scramble out to the right and make, almost get a first down. And then on 4th and 1, Andy Reid draws up one of these little plays. Tyreek Hill gets a first down, and you're going home. You're still the same old Browns. You had your chance. Mahomes was out. I got news for you. Mahomes probably won't miss the playoffs this time around. He won't miss a game in the playoffs this time around. You have Lamar Jackson to deal with in your own division. And the secondary gives me agita. I have major, major concerns about their secondary. They have no good safeties in the back end. I understand you lost Grant Delpit, but he's a rookie, unproven. Denzel Ward's a good corner, but he can't cover everybody back there. A good pass rush maybe will help you on the defensive line, or in the back end. Defensive backfield, but it's just foolish. It's just foolish. Clowney is not that guy to run up a bunch of sacks. He gets pressure. He's a good player, but as far as a number 1 pick goes, has Clowney been a bust, or has he been serviceable, or has he been great? He's been serviceable.
Yeah,
okay.
he had. Yeah, I agree with you.
A number 1 pick that lived up to his potential would not have been on the free agency market for this long. Why does he struggle to get a deal every year?
Every year, you're exactly right.
Every year.
You're
so
exactly
how
right.
good is Clowney?
Okay, so I am going to agree just foolish, but it's for different reasons, right? That defense was solid last year. They added some safety help. I agree outside of Denzel Ward, who's there on the corner level, but the pass rush is going to be there. Offensively, they're okay, but you know where my issue lies, and it's that quarterback. I don't trust that guy, Baker Mayfield, one bit, and I don't see how you win big games with that guy. I don't see it. He is the reason why I cannot go all in on Cleveland, because as a whole, that roster, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Beckham coming back, Jarvis Landry, right? Donovan Peoples-Jones looks like he's going to be a player, right? You have Hooper at tight end and Njoku, an above-average offensive line, a defense that's top 10. You should be set. And the one thing holding you back is that quarterback, Baker Mayfield. You need to.
Wow.
I don't. To me, if you cannot win with this roster, if you're Baker Mayfield, you have to seriously take a look at your quarterback position, because the roster itself is loaded from top to bottom.
Yep. That's a fact. They're putting their money in the right place. Their offense doesn't need anything more. Everything's in place. Like you said, you ran up and down the weapons. I got major, major concerns about the defense still. But that wraps up Justified, Just Foolish. On the other end of the break, we get Kalen Clark in here. We're going to break down some social media, and that's our socially acceptable segment. So keep it locked. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast. Welcome back in. This is the Brothers and Ball podcast. We have our social media expert, my man Kalen Clark, joining the podcast for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Welcome in, man.
What's
Happy
up,
to
what's
have
up?
you, bro. Happy to have you. I
Happy
want to
to
jump
be
right into it, bro. I want to save the time so that we can go at it here with the social media. So Kevin Durant is our headline for socially acceptable almost always. So Kevin Durant and Shannon Sharp got into some beef on Twitter, and Shannon went on undisputed. This is the root of the beef. I'm going to show you guys what Shannon said.
Because he said it. If LeBron James is the GOAT, I beat the GOAT twice and hit the shots in his building. What does that make me?
So the beef lies right there with Shannon Sharp quoting a fake post. That Kevin Durant never said that stuff. And Kevin Durant never hesitates to fire at somebody on Twitter. So he goes, "Y'all drunk uncle out here lying again. When did I say this?" And then tags Shannon Sharp. And Durant went on to reply to some other people saying that gullible fans are going to believe this, but it's not true. He didn't say it. And it all ended with Durant getting blocked by Shannon Sharp. So Shannon Sharp blocks Durant after all this, and it's just kind of crazy. I never expected Uncle Shay to be so soft on social media. So Kalen, break this down for me. Is it socially acceptable that Shannon Sharp blocked Kevin Durant?
In this instance, it would be only because if you look at the most recent events with Kevin Durant on social media with Michael Rappaport and how that went to a little rabbit hole, I would say definitely Shannon did the cautious thing to just end it because apparently it didn't look like the Twitter rant was going to end anytime soon because we all know once KD gets started on Twitter, he's pretty much an antagonizer. So Shannon did the, I think, smart thing and just backed out of that situation real quick. But to, us regular folks, it looks soft because, you're supposed to continue clapping back, whatever. But I mean, at this point, Shannon is, a different age group than KD. So he's looking at KD like you're still a kid to me. I'm not going back and forth with you. So I'm going to just take my bow and call it a day.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Mike, tell me, is it socially acceptable what Shannon Sharp did? He made an error, and then Durant called him out on it, and now he doesn't want to hear from Durant, at least in the eye of the public. Socially acceptable.
I'm mixed on this. Because Shannon's copping out here, right? He doesn't want to admit his mistake in front of people. I don't like that, right? But he was quick to call Durant out in front of people. So that bothers me. But Kalen alluded to it. Durant doesn't get any benefit of the doubt at all. He's been all over social media since I can remember, and he's just been a problem. He doesn't know how to. I don't know. He doesn't know how to control himself. I don't know how else to put it. He just once he gets going, it just keeps going. The Rappaport stuff didn't have to happen. We talked about that last week. And I don't know. It looks soft on Shannon's part, but I see why he did it, being that it's Kevin Durant. So I'm going to say it is socially acceptable for him to block Kevin Durant because Durant's history, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. And, Sharp was the first one on Undisputed last week to condemn Michael Rappaport. Like you said, Kalen, he was saying, I'm disappointed in both of these guys. You should never let it get this far. And he's practicing what he preaches here by blocking him and not engaging. And Sharp even said, he was replying to fans or, people who were saying like, oh, you're soft for that. He says, I'm not going to argue with Kevin Durant in the public eye. He wants to handle it in private. And Sharp has said that on the show as well. He said it on Undisputed before, where if he has any type of issue or he wants to talk to somebody, it's accessible. It's right there for you. You can message him. So I don't know, man. I can't fault Sharp, but I mean Durant is ruthless, ain't he? What is he?
He is. I mean, I will say this about it though. If Shannon, well, not if, because Shannon is wrong as far as like the report. It was a fake article. I would say if you publicly made a statement, it deserves a public apology. So he could have easily just sent a quick tweet like "my bad," whatever. But again, Katie doesn't make that easy on you because
No,
like this guy's
no,
a jerk.
he doesn't. Yeah, this guy's out of control. This guy's out of control. You know,
So
and Shannon has a platform where he can go ahead and apologize right on TV.
Mm.
You know, will he do it? I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know if it was me and Kevin Durant's. I don't know. I don't know if I apologize, Kevin Durant. The guy's an ass. I don't know how else to put it.
right.
I don't know how to put it. I don't get it. I mean, he you saw his press conference after the Michael Rappaport stuff. All he said was, "I wish it didn't happen," and that was it.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's you watch other superstars in this league, and you never hear like they don't act the way Durant does. He's too good. He's too iconic to for us to be talking about him in socially acceptable with Shannon Sharp. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Like you are too good. Go play, go score 30 a game and win titles. It's not you don't need to engage in this.
Yeah, I don't know how he finds the time to to stay so active on social media instead of focusing on like his game. He says that's what's important to him is player development. Recently, when they asked him, what's important to you, championships or whatever, he's like, I don't compare myself or to winning rings. What I'm trying to do is just be the best player I can be and develop. So that's what he says is important to him. But it sure looks like you know you want to spend
It's
more
easy.
time.
It's easy to say you don't care about rings
Right.
when you ran to Golden State and got two of them. It's
Then there's
easy to
that
say you
too.
don't care about
Exactly.
rings. If you didn't have any rings, would it matter? I bet the rings matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also what Sharp said on Undisputed that that was the argument or the debate topic that him and Skip had at the time. It was regarding KD and his rings and that statement that you just said, Kalen. Of course you're worried about where you are all time. What else? What else are you doing it for? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're
Especially
only
when
going to
you're
leave behind a legacy. Like,
right. Especially when you're like the considered one of the top elite players. Like he's easily top 5 players in the NBA right now. What else are you
mhm.
doing? It's not like you're Russell Westbrook, where it's like, all right, you have elite talent, but the road is a little bit tougher for you because you lack in certain skills. But KD's an all around player, elite talent. So yeah, what else? What else are you caring about? There should be nothing else that you're caring about at the level that you're at.
100%. I want to flip it around because we talked about is it acceptable for Sharp to block KD, but now I know we kind of hinted at it, but is Kevin Durant socially acceptable for just coming at Shannon Sharp's neck like this? I mean, Sharp did have KD's name in his mouth and was wrong about it. So is Kevin Durant socially acceptable, Kalen?
I would say it's both. So he could have initially, made his position felt by saying, "Hey, this is wrong," but regular KD fashion, it doesn't just stop there. So hey,
Yeah.
he
Instead
just
of
keeps
calling him
building.
drunk.
Right, right. He could have just said, "Listen, Shannon, you're wrong. I didn't. This is fake news," and kept it pushing. And especially, and I guess on the other side of saying it's not acceptable is because again, you just came from the situation with Michael Rappaport. Wouldn't you be tiptoeing around certain social media events or spats? I think it was a slippery slope, and good thing I don't know, good thing Shannon blocked him because you don't know how far that would have went if Shannon decided to like go back and forth with him. So
That's right.
Yeah. So to me, it was look. We just said it's soft for Sharp to block KD. But I think it did Durant a favor because if it keeps going, Durant doesn't know where to stop.
right,
He just would have went bonkers. So I honestly, I don't have much to say. I don't like Durant on social media, and he just proved me right time and time again. Even when maybe you are in the right in certain situations, because this continually happens, I can't get down with that. So I'm not on Durant's side in any situation when it comes to social media. They want to talk to that man on the floor. He's a bad man.
Right.
He is a bad man. That boy. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get behind what Durant's Durant coming so crazy with the quote tweet and attacking Shannon like that. But I have to say it's socially acceptable only because he's talking about him. Like that's him. He can let his fans do the talking, or my golden question here is what happened to his burner account? However, you don't use that. You could get on there and not have to worry about yourself all over the news. Like you had the burner accounts. You were out. You don't want to get caught again. Like just go and be more careful this time. Tweet from the random account and defend yourself if that's what you want to do. Like he's doing it from his verified, checked account, and it's an unfair playing field because Durant can come out here on Twitter and tell anyone about their wife or anything crazy that he wants to say and only get fined $50K. Shannon could lose his job like Paul Pierce just did over, something on social media.
Right. Or, I mean, here's a crazy thought. Let's just stop being sensitive about the media.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Why? Like, what justice does it do for KD to say anything to him? Just sit back, score 30 a night, win the East, and go play LeBron again.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
In the public eye, as an elite talent, you're going to be criticized no matter what you do. Like,
correct.
If it's fake, real, or whatever, it's you're constantly going to be the topic of conversation because you're great at what you do. You got to accept it and just roll with the punches and move on.
Yep, exactly. I mean, just doing the research and looking at these tweets from beforehand and all time, he's tweeted 24,000 tweets. Like like Kalen said, where do you find the time for all this stuff? Like you're a professional player, man. Like you go get some shots up or something.
He's been sitting out a lot, so I don't know.
Exactly.
That's still ridiculous.
Everyone roasting him because they're like, "Oh, shouldn't Durant be in the gym?" They're like, "Oh, wait, he doesn't go to the gym. He doesn't lift weights."
He probably gained like maybe 15 more pounds than he had from his rookie year. Like
Exactly. But listen, as hard as Durant gives it out on Twitter, people, are going to be just as ruthless because they have nothing to lose either. They're probably tweeting from a burner account. You don't know anything about them. It could be anybody. So I said it last week and I'll say it again, bro. You can only get in trouble on social media. You can't really promote yourself or do any good. As a player,
and it's exhausting. It's like a second job trying to keep up with this. Like, how do you? I can't imagine being an athlete, a professional athlete. You got practice and meetings all day, and your side businesses. Then you got games, and then you find time to troll the trollers on social media. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It's crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
It's crazy. But we do have another socially acceptable topic. This one is switching gears to the NFL. Aaron Rodgers has been a guest host on Jeopardy for the past 2 weeks, and he's getting better. He's making strides. He's obviously not natural. That's not his first job, not his first occupation, but he can't stop talking about how much he loves this opportunity. And it feels like he's kind of baiting the Packers, the way that Brett Favre did back in the day. Like, I got this lined up where I can make a certain amount of millions and not get hit by 300-pound guys anymore. So, you better respect me, trade Jordan Love. Like I think he has an alternate motive, but I want to let you break it down, Kalen. Is it socially acceptable for Rodgers to be so invested in something other than football at this point?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the off season. He's almost wrapping up his career, so I would think you would want to think about what you want to do afterwards. But I think is definitely a good direction for him. He has the personality for it. I feel like if you ever hear his interviews when he's talking about games or sports analysts, he's definitely has the charisma to do it. So I don't disagree with it, but yes, I think it's definitely something the Packers should think about if they want to keep him for another couple years and try to make some moves because they're definitely doing him a disjustice by not adding weapons around him. Like why not draft a receiver and draft another quarterback that's going to end up sitting behind him anyway unless you do something with Aaron. So
Yep. Mike, socially acceptable for Rodgers to be on Jeopardy?
Yes, it's absolutely acceptable. I'm on Aaron Rodgers' side. Okay, anytime you have a generational quarterback, right, and you have done nothing to help this guy, right? You draft a quarterback, Jordan Love, in the first round for what purpose? I still don't know why you would draft that guy, right? It's almost like even if this is a shot back at Green Bay, like, yep, forget about working out. I'm going to do Jeopardy. I'm going to go do my thing. Who cares at this point? Because he has. There's no reason for you to only have one title with Aaron Rodgers. There is no reason because I could think we can all sit up here and say he's a top 5 talent quarterback wise all time, and we're just watching. It's unbelievable. I mean, everyone crushes. Rodgers for not running. He had the 2 chances to run in the end zone, right, in the championship, and then your head coach goes and kicks the field goal. Like, give me another shot. You have Aaron Rodgers. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yep. You have Aaron Rodgers, and you're kicking a field goal and a chance to go to Super Bowl. Like, what are you going to put the hands in it? You're going to put it on your defense or put it in Aaron Rodgers? Hello, hello. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm on Aaron Rodgers' side. Green Bay has done nothing to help him in the last 10 years. So anything Aaron Rodgers wants to do to help himself and get himself ready for a life after football, I am all for it because any year going forward that the Packers have Aaron Rodgers is a benefit to them. It's not a benefit to him.
Right. Especially with if you taking account that every time you step on the football field, there's a risk for these players' lives, technically.
Correct.
And
could be it.
The years past, I haven't seen any, I guess, appreciation of that. I'm not stepping out there towards the end. Start thinking about what's next, right? If I don't have any, if I don't see any benefit from it, so yeah.
I know quarterback's one of the just to touch on what you just said, it's quarterback's one of the more safe positions. Obviously, you're not getting hit as much, or you're not hitting as much. But for Rodgers, it's like at the fact that he's 37 now, 38. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he is still able to go in front of a camera and perform like that on a show, for that long. A lot of NFL players, when their career's done, they're not able to do stuff like that just because of how much the game has messed them up, in their head and the after effects of playing the game. So, but just to highlight what Rodgers put on social media earlier today, he put up an Instagram post of him on the Jeopardy set, and it says, "I love this game. Every night is something new and different. Heart emoji, 100 emoji, #grateful." He's jabbing at the Packers. He's jabbing at the Packers like, listen, I'll drop this quarterback thing in a second. I'll ask you to trade me. I'll figure something out.
That's right. That is exactly right. It's almost like it's similar to the Brady in New England type thing. Mm-hmm. Brady was there. Obviously they loved them there, but it's almost like they're not fully invested in Rodgers. Like, Brady left because his best weapon was Julian Edelman and who else? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, your number one running back is who? James White, Sony Michel? Like what are you doing? You have Tom Brady. Then he goes to Tampa Bay and everyone wants to come play. Freaking Julian Edelman retired 27 seconds ago, and all of a sudden they're talking about him coming back to play with the Buccaneers. What is happening?
Right.
It doesn't. It's ridiculous. The disrespect to Aaron Rodgers is crazy, and I'm telling you, another franchise would. Oh my God, you have Aaron Rodgers, you build a roster to win, and they're not doing that.
All right.
Okay, they drafted Devontae Adams, and they had no idea he was going to be a freaking superstar. They got lucky with that. They got lucky with that. They had nothing else. Aaron Jones got lucky with that too. That's not. These aren't first round, second round picks. These are guys that they're just getting
Like,
lucky with.
I don't like this is an organization that I've seen. Well, the only one pretty much that I've seen that has no interest in drafting and no interest in free agency. Like, what
it's
what big
bonkers
free
to me.
agency splash have they made in the last 10 years? I can't really remember.
Let
Like,
me ask you a question: Was Justin Jefferson available at Jordan Love's pick?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I think because I
It might
think
have
Love
been.
like
I mean,
think
come
Love
on.
was
Like, let's be real. You drafted Jordan Love in the first round. Are you getting? If you wanted to turn around and trade Jordan Love tomorrow, are you getting a first round pick for him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah. I don't understand
Absolutely
it.
bonkers.
I don't understand it. And the how do you not value your Hall of Fame bound quarterback and not want to see him prosper? It only helps your organization. So adding things around him just makes things easier. The same thing with the Patriots. Like, I understand, Bill,
Yeah.
he doesn't, want to seem like he's giving players power. Pretty much, I feel like that's what it is a power struggle between these organizations and the players. But the players run the league, even though the organization is the one, paying for everything. But you don't win without the players. So put in the best effort forward to help these players get
Exactly.
I
the job
find it
done.
ironic too that all of a sudden Belichick he goes and signs 2 tight ends after Brady leaves. Like why don't you go get those guys when you had them?
Spending the
And
stimmy.
Yeah,
Spending the stimmy.
and he paid for Aguilar. So I mean, someone that may not even deserve that contract. He paid a lot
oh
for him.
boy, sure
I
did.
mean,
For the accuracy,
Aguilar had a season with the Raiders last
he's
season. He had a
he's
season.
not terrible. He's not terrible. You're
Oh
right.
boy,
He's not
For for the
He's not the Philly Aguilar.
yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah. But for the accuracy of the podcast, Green Bay Packers traded into the 26th pick to take Jordan Love, and Justin Jefferson was picked at 22.
all right.
Justin Jefferson was traded, straight up for Diggs, for the 22nd pick. But how come you can't trade with like Philly at 21? They Philly selected Rieger. That one hurts. Could have had Justin Jefferson.
There's nothing that justifies taking Jordan Love in the first round when you have Aaron Rodgers at
Trading
quarterback. There's
up to
nothing.
do it. You traded up to do it.
You moved up to get him. Oh my God.
I just want to play a quick clip from Jeopardy.
Title for 400. In the 1960s, these Midwesterners earned 5 NFL championship trophies. Green Bay Packers? Dennis, go again, title for 600.
Yeah, so they missed a pretty heavy hint right there. In their defense, they know a lot more stuff than football championships. So, I don't want to roast the contestants.
But wait. I mean, I don't know if you have the full clip, but right after that, there's a clip of him asking a Boston Celtics championship question, and the dude got it like right away.
And they knew it. They knew it. Yeah.
Okay.
And Aaron was like, "Oh, but you knew this question." If Aaron takes over, you can't come on there with the faint of heart because he is very snarky, and I love it.
Yeah, no, he is
He
clever.
is.
He's clever.
Love it.
There was also another one where with the Final Jeopardy where you write in your answer, one of the contestants wrote in who decided to kick that field goal, and Rodgers has to read their answers aloud. It's been some funny moments. I think he's a really great host. I think he's getting a lot better, and it's a good fit for him, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
But That was socially acceptable. Thanks so much, Kalen, for coming on, man. We're gonna get you back on here
Yes,
soon.
sir.
Social
Definitely.
media expert. Social
Yeah,
Been
media
great,
you
expert.
been
are
great.
you're officially the social media expert.
I love it. Love it. Listen, I won't, bash out like KD, so you won't have to worry about no backlash coming back
Right.
your way.
Maybe we
We
can
don't
get
want
into a Twitter beef with KD on behalf of the Brothers and Ball podcast.
That would be great.
look,
Listen,
look,
I
Kalen.
got some stuff for him.
Kalen, we don't have to fire you like Paul Pierce now.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah. Don't
no,
act
no,
right.
no,
Don't act up.
no,
Don't act up. All
no, no,
right, we're
no.
gonna hit a quick break. Keep it locked. It's the Brothers and Ball podcast. Welcome back. It is the Brothers and Ball podcast. We're so convincing. We convinced Thalen to stick around. Tell us what he thinks of the quick draw segment. We are going to go back and forth, 30 seconds each. NFL over/under win totals since Vegas just came out with those numbers. Of course, we're going to start with the defending AFC champions. So, Mike, I want you to start and tell me what you think the Chiefs over/under for 12 wins is going to be. Do you think that they win over or under 12 games, or you could push?
I'm going over. They upgraded the biggest weakness, which was the line. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in year 2. Mahomes is a monster. He restructured his deal already after just signing it to make more room on this roster. 17-game season. I say they win 13. They go 13-4. Defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They return all 22 starters. 11.5 wins, over or under.
Easy one. They're going over. Tom Brady's unlocked this thing. He's got it going. They're going to be a regular season juggernaut. Don't see Mike Evans getting hurt this year. I see them adding some critical pieces in the draft. And it just gets easier once you've won one. I mean, it's not going to be easy to repeat, but it's going to be easier for them to get this chemistry going throughout the regular season because you saw in the early season they were struggling. Tom Brady doesn't remember what down it is and whatnot. So you gotta give them time. They're going to figure it out. But from Tom Brady's new team to Tom Brady's old team, Mike, the New England Patriots, their over/under is set at 9 wins even. Are they going over or under 9 wins?
Push. They're going 9-8.
Okay.
They made a lot of moves. They made some moves to get better. But Miami's going to get better too in his second year. Buffalo's still a force to be reckoned with. The Jets made some moves. We'll see where they're at. I still think they're the worst team in that division, but they're going to be a tougher team to beat. So to me, the answer is a push. 9 wins, not a playoff team, and Belichick still struggles to win without his guy Tom Brady.
See.
Let's flip it. Okay,
Mhm.
to the NFC again, and we're going to talk about America's team. Dak Prescott returning to the Cowboys. Their over/under is at 9.5.
9.5. That's an over. They got 4 wins at least in that division. No disrespect to the Giants over there, Kalen. They're beating them at least once. Dak owns the football team. If you look it up on Google, Dak is the owner of the Washington football team. Okay? There's no way that he loses more than 2 games in this division. And I might think that they may go 6-0. So you factor in that. They're going to at least be 10-7. I say they end up 11-6, and they're going to be a strong, strong contender throughout the season with a weak defense, but they're going to be able to outscore you.
Division helps them there big time. They're going to win more. I agree.
It does. If they were in a different division, it would be different. But from the worst division in the NFC, yeah, go ahead, Kalen.
I'm sorry. I was saying I think that Cowboys might run into an issue with Washington. There are no pushovers. Their defense was top last year, and it looks like they're bringing majority of that back. The only problem is figuring out how to score with a quarterback with who they're going to use. But
Ryan Fitztragic, he's a problem.
Right. So I mean, their defense wins you games. So I feel like their defense would be good enough to compete with Dak and CD and the boys. So I don't know. The division definitely helps, but it's not a pushover.
Let's not forget, real quick.
Yeah.
They only lost to the Bucks, the Redskins. I'm talking. by one score to the Super Bowl champions with Taylor Heineke. Just throwing that out there.
Fact.
Okay?
It's a fact. That was a great game. But
Yeah, it was.
for the NFC, we're going from the NFC least, as Skip and Shannon call it, to the NFC West, which is probably the best division in the NFC.
Hands down.
Right. So the Cardinals over-under is set at 8. They made some interesting additions this all season. Mike, are the Cardinals going to win over or under 8 games?
I'm going over. They made some additions, right? They added AJ Green, but they didn't add him to play 17 games. They added him to be healthy down the stretch and win you big games. They just signed James Conner, I think, today. Kyler Murray, another year of experience. Tough division. I don't know how good the Rams are going to be with Stafford. I mean, are they that much better than with Goff? I don't know, maybe a little bit. Seattle, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Russell Wilson, trade rumors all over the place. He's going to be in Seattle, but how well do they mesh? And then San Francisco, I mean, is they moved up to 3 to draft a quarterback, so that means they don't like Garoppolo that much. So what's going on there? So I think the Cardinals are going to win 9 or 10 games. So I'm going over with them. I like the Cardinals roster. I like what they're doing. They have the head coach. I think they're trending upward big time. But let's finish the only way we know how with our New York Jets. All right, they've made some interesting moves this year. Their over and under is set at 6.5. Chris, please give me some optimism here. Please, please, please.
You're asking me for the wrong thing, bro. It is an under. They are not winning 7 games. So that means they will be 7-10. There's no way. There's no way I see it. Not with a rookie quarterback, not with the moves that you made in the offseason. I get it. It's an upgrade. The team's going to be a lot more disciplined, more well-coached, obviously. It's going to be night and day from this past year. But, instead of 2 wins, we're talking about 5. It's not going to be, even with the extra game. They're still, like you said, probably the worst team in the division, by far. So don't want to go over my time. Probably already did. But the Jets, it's not looking good for them. Rookie quarterback growing pains, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. To the points that Chris made, new system, new coach. You got to give them a little bit to get acclimated with that. Your division itself, still, Dolphins are coming up. Bills are right there. You already saw their run in the playoffs this past season. It's just going to be tough with a new rookie quarterback for him to go up against all of that in year 1. So Jets got a little bit to go.
Yep.
Real quick,
do.
Clark, I'm going to
Go
go
ahead.
off the cuff, okay? Giants fan, their over-under is at 7. Real quick, over-under, Giants, 7 wins.
Even though it's in Joe I trust, I gotta say under. I'm still not even though we've added some good pieces to and during the offseason, Galladay, and some defensive pieces, I'm still not a believer in Jones's ability to hold on to the ball and to find comfortability and discomfort, meaning that he has to find a way to handle the pressure when he's being blitzed and all of that. So I still don't feel like he's quite there yet, but we've seen enough that he can make a play when it's needed. So I mean, they did well last season. They were in a lot of big games, and they went toe to toe with Tampa. Only lost by, I think, a point, if I remember that correctly, like 1 or 2. So I mean, it's there, but you got to see again what strides Dame Jones has taken this offseason. But right now, I feel like it's under.
Yeah, it's safe to say it's on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that. So both of you guys go under. Jet fan goes under 6.5. Giant fan goes under 7. Unreal. Some fans you don't are.
It's being real, man.
Real.
I can't come on here and lie.
Unbelievable.
Can't come on here and tell a lie to the people.
You just told me the Jets go in 5 games. What's my reason to watch NFL this year?
To watch another rookie quarterback make rookie mistakes, step in shit every 5 seconds again. It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough for the Jets. Strap in. I'll tell you, if the Giants don't win 7 games, Gettleman canned. See ya. Get him
He's
out of
gone.
there. He's
Gotta
gone.
go.
This is his
And
last-ditch
Daniel
effort
Jones
here.
is canned too. They'll be looking for a new quarterback next
They
year.
had to. They had to. There's no way you can
That's a
keep
fact.
the talent that we do have and just waste it on Daniel. You gotta look for another option after this year. I feel like.
I agree.
For sure. That wraps up Quick Draw. That wraps up the Brothers and Ball podcast. Kalen, again, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you. And
Yes, sir.
for Michael Douglas, I'm Chris Douglas. It's another edition. Keep tuning in to us. We're going to get our stuff on more platforms. We'll get on Twitter. We'll keep growing. And as long as you guys keep supporting us, we appreciate it. Any last words for the people?
Sir. Thank you, guys. Stick with us. Let's get this thing going, baby. Clark, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully I'm here a lot more often. See you guys later.
Get it. Yes, sir.
Brothers and Ball podcast.